Archaeological revelations date its most prosperous years to between 900 and 1200 AD, also known as the Classic Period. But it wasn't until this century that excavators uncovered the temples that constitute the Xunantunich Maya site.
Scholars believe that glyphs only represented ideas.
Frank Sib is an epigrapher from San Antonio Village, Cayo. He constructs, decodes, and dates hieroglyphs from the classic Mayas. And he explains that Xunantunich is not the original name for the site we visited today.
The original name of Xunantunich, which is Kat Yat Wit, right? Which is clay mountain. So here we have Ka, Ta, Ya, Tsi, and we have a logogram of wheat.
How did it change?
What do you mean? So this was the ancient name, right?
Yes.
So again, when the writing system died, Xunantunich collapsed, no one knew about the name. The ancient Mayas left out of that, even the name.
But there is also a lore surrounding the present name of the site.
There was some hunters that came here and they said they saw a lady, right there. So they said stone lady, so Xunan, which is lady, Tunich is rock, so lady of the rock.
There is another interesting revelation that many of us probably did not know about Xunantunich.
People are actually residing within this center. We have evidence of hieroglyphs and graffiti in several buildings which we didn't know before. So people are actually utilizing these spaces and recording events all across time.
El Fego Panti was only 10 years old when Xunantunich was opened to the public in 1950, and the site would become a primary means of his livelihood as a caretaker and a tour guide. He said that natural deterioration over the decades has required a degree of restoration.
The main building, the doorways, walls, and the arches, so that has been reconstructed, reinforced. The biggest one is El Castillo, the castle, and it measures 130 feet high, and that main building has seen most of the major restoration.
But Mother Nature sometimes prevents access to the site. The nearby river, according to Panti, can raise high enough to force closure of the access ferry to Xunantunich.
It's a yearly problem, the rainy season. Just recently you heard in the news or in the papers that there's a big flood, and so that happens almost every year. Few years. For many years, the river hasn't gone up.
But closure due to flooding is not the only problem at the archaeological site. According to the director of the Institute of Archaeology, Dr. Melissa Badillo, agricultural expansions have also led to permanent losses of some of Belize's patrimony.
There's a lot of agriculture development in the country. And it poses a big challenge for us because it means that land is being cleared, and sometimes irrespective of whatever is on the property.
To promote the message about the importance of archaeological sites and their link to Belize's tourism, Dr. Badillo says the Institute of Archaeology conducts open fairs as it did today at the site.
The factors, sustainable development, climate change, climate factors, all those the Mayas were faced with as well, but they were able to utilize the landscape, utilize the natural resources to their advantage. But again, it reached a point where it could not be sustained, so we saw the decline of their civilization. So we should take into consideration those factors because the same applies today.
Sylvia Batty is the director of Heritage Education Network in Belize, a non-governmental organization that promotes archaeology in Belize. They engage in showcasing archaeology as a fun topic.
So what we do is find creative ways to engage students, to engage the public. So one of the things that we did is we wrote an archaeologically inspired children's book. And our children's book is written in English, in Spanish, and in Yucatec Maya. And when we mean archaeologically inspired, this book is actually based at Xunantunich. All of these small pieces of stone tools still tell us information. So even if it's a small little piece like that, we find this and it tells you they were making pieces like this.
Aside from the effort to preserve the relics of the past, however, Sib creates his own pieces, like a personal hieroglyph, to document his family's migration to their present home.
So then I decided, why not do something as the ancient Mayas would do, and commemorate a rock. So we went to live at our place at 2010, and 2010 I carved this out. We start with the introductory phrase, which is Iut, and then it happened. The Mayas were very poetic. And then it happened December 10, 2010. The Sib family came to live here.
Where is that?
In San Antonio.
And while there are now 3 groups of Mayas in this region, originally there was only one Maya people with one language.
Yucatec Mayas came from the north. Mapana Kekchi came from the west, which is from Guatemala. This is referring to the ancient Mayas, which we call the classic Maya, right?
Yes.
This is not referring to the groups that we have now specifically, but this is an ancient language which we call classic Maya.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali.